is making a hell of a racket. Hi everyone, how's it going? My name's Sean, hope you're all doing okay. Today we are going to be buying some stuff, and I thought I'd quickly drag you along, just because. Right, so, displays. They're metal posters. I have quite a few of them, as you can see on my wall above me. You can see I've got some displays. So that's exactly what we're doing. So I think I was looking at this one. I quite like it. I think it's quite bland though. It's just the text. It's to be honest, the rest is all pretty blank. So I was like, but I like what it's saying. So I was thinking about that one. I was looking at this one to buy as well, and then I kind of thought, well that's fine, but I think the concept of the picture is slightly wrong here, because on the surface it seems fine. Okay, you're the shark. Okay, but if you're on a beach and you look at this and you're like, oh, there's a shark, right? But at the end of the day, the problem is you're still the fish in the sea, right? Now the problem that I've got is that surely if you had the right mindset, you don't appear to be the shark, you are the shark. You're completely shark. And to be honest, this picture kind of reminds me of me, where everyone else thinks I'm a shark, okay, but I think I'm still a little fish. It's just how it is. That's just how my mindset is. But normally that's completely different. Normally you think you're the shark in the water, but then you got no fin, so nobody really sees that you're the shark. Whereas with me, it's the other way round. It's the other way round. So I'm still trying to work on this, but because I look at this and I think this is me, I don't think I'm going to get it. But I was pretty drawn up on buying it, and then I was like, yeah, actually it doesn't really work. I was looking at this one. Actually I'm going to add this one very quickly to my cart. I should have already done this, but I didn't really. It's £112 or whatever. So the whiteboard. So this is a blank display effectively, and I do have an idea. The idea is if I get the large one, I can put the large one, and I haven't measured this, so I probably should measure it before I get it. I should be able to put it, hang on, sorry. I should be able to put it just up there in that area and have it as a portrait one. And I can write things on it and have that showing in the video. I think that would be a pretty good idea. The only problem is it is £72 for a large one, which, let's be realistic, it's a lot of money. Like, so I'm just like, you can't very well say that this one's a bit bland and then you spend 72 on a purely blank one. But I'm thinking if I get like a whiteboard marker or some dry erasers, I can draw on it, and I can draw whatever I want on it. So I'm like, and if I ever find someone who's really into art, I can just literally give it to them. They can draw on it, and then I've got some free art. And then if I decide I don't want it, I could just rub it off. I don't know. To me, it seems like a good idea, but I agree. £72 for a blank display is a lot of money, but whatever. Let's do that. Right. I'm actually going to do it again, if that's okay. And I'm going to get one. Can I do it again? Yeah, I want to get the medium one as well. 36. I was looking at these other ones as well. These ones are really cool as well. I think this is pretty cool, but if you're going to get one that's like this, you want to make sure to get the gloss version and not the matte version. If you get the gloss version, the vibrant neon colours are going to show up a lot better. Now, I personally haven't got a gloss one, but I've seen pictures online of the differences between matte and not. It kind of doesn't. Yeah, it kind of doesn't really show it actually. It looks like the matte one's more vivid, but to be honest, it's not true. The gloss one is a lot more vivid. It is a little bit more money to get the gloss one, but if you're going to do it, go for it. Lights aren't massively a problem depending on what you're doing. For me, if I did get gloss ones in the back there, I'm just going to have light reflecting off of it, because I've got 2 lights here. I'm going to have another one on top of the camera. Got a load of natural light as well, so if the camera picks it up, it's going to just do weird janky stuff, and it probably won't even focus correctly because light affects my camera in very strange different ways. So that one's quite cool. This one again, quite cool. It's a bit too dark, but you could probably do something with it, I guess. Again, you'd go for gloss if you're going to get this one. I'm not buying these, by the way, I'm just literally showing you. This one's quite cool. Again, an idea of the neon one, you'd go for gloss as well. This one I thought was pretty cool as well. I like this. I was thinking about getting it actually, but then I was like, yeah. Problem is, when it's nighttime, you're not going to be able to see it, so you've got to bear that in mind. Again, you go gloss on that one. This one's quite cool as well. I'd go for gloss on that one. Then I thought, okay, well, I've got Display Club, so I'd try making my own stuff. Now, I love a Japanese game show called Gaki no Tsukai. It's actually called Gaki no Tsukai Yaharende. I can't pronounce it very well. But it's a show put together by Downtown, and it's the whole concept is you're not allowed to laugh. If you laugh, you get punished. Now, this particular one here, this probably wouldn't look very good on a display, but let me give you the rundown. I'm pretty confident that this one is where Yamasaki Jose farts. I believe he's being lifted, and he farts, and everyone laughs. I just think his face is funny. So then I was looking at a Downtown image. I think this one's pretty dope. The only problem is it doesn't say no laughing on it as far as I'm aware. I can't read Japanese, so there's a slight problem, but I'm pretty confident it is not no laughing. I think it probably says Gaki no Tsukai on it. I really don't know, to be honest, or it'll say Gaki no Tsukai Yaharende, just because there's 2 exclamation marks on it, so I guess that would make sense. Gaki no Tsukai Yaharende? I don't know, I'm not 1000% sure. But if I was going to go for that one, then that would probably be about right. It looks like it's quite a decent size as well. It's 500 by 750, so it still needs to be stretched, and I'd have to do a bit of work on it, but that'd be pretty cool. One here as well. The only problem is the resolutions, again, is a bit trash. And the actual image itself, even before it's stuck and made bigger, is a bit crap as well. And obviously I'd make sure that the colours were right, because when they talk, I'll explain it another time. No one cares. This was the one that I was looking at. I was thinking about trying to recreate this one. This is the size of display if you was going to make it. I'd have to do a lot of work on it. I'd have to redo the blue, I'd have to redo the text, I'd probably have to refine all of the colours and all of this, so it'd take a hell of a long time to do. But I might see if I can do it in the future when I've got some time, but it's going to take too long for me to do. So yeah, that's basically what I was doing. Right, let's go ahead and grab these bad boys. Right, let's go to cart. Is that going to work? You can only pay for displays that cost $2.30 on it. I understand. Oh, that's not going to work. It has to be under. So it has to be under that. Huh. Well, that's crap. Oh well, that completely didn't work. Okay, let's jump back into getting over it again, because why not? It's not like I'm going to be anytime soon. Crazy. I don't understand that. I don't get why I can't just pay £7 extra. That absolutely sucks. So I don't know quite how I'm going to do that now. I guess I'll have to go for the large one, the large poster, and the limited edition one. But it's just so annoying. Like, why? Like, what the heck? Whatever. All good. All good. Right, I've got another little story for you. About the time I nearly blew up the school. Okay. So, a bit of backstory, if I may. There was a girl. Now, I'm not going to say her name, because she'll really hate me forever. Well, she already does hate me forever, so it probably doesn't really matter. And this girl, she was quite small. Now, you'll find this quite a lot in my videos where I talk about a girl and I will call people small. This girl was particularly small. I would say that she was one of the smallest people I have had the pleasure to come across. She's very small. Like, I don't... I can't explain it very well, but she's very small. Like, I would say she's probably not even 5 foot. So she's she's quite small. I would question whether she's even 4 foot, to be honest. Anyways, this girl took a particular dislike to me, and that's putting it lightly. I can't concentrate. Anyways, this girl, I would normally try to annoy her because when she would get frustrated, she would shout. And when she shouts, I'd normally get into trouble. And she'd say, try and explain to the teacher that I was annoying her. And, well, the teacher would never understand, would never listen to her. And she'd always get into trouble. Well, she'd always be shouted at. She'd never really properly get into trouble. I would never get into trouble, but she'd normally be like, she'd try and deflect what the problem is onto me, but the teacher would always think that she was the problem. Anyways, it sounds like I'm bullying. Honestly, it really isn't anything like that at all. It's whenever I did it, everyone else found it particularly funny as well. And I think she found it particularly funny as well when she actually got told off. She would physically smile and laugh and stuff like that, and just sort of complain more. Hard to explain. She was a very bizarre girl. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm any less bizarre, but she was an odd girl. Anyways, so because of that reason, she took a particular dislike to me, and we developed a relationship. Now, the relationship was entirely hate. We did not like each other at all. In fact, actually, we would probably try our best to stay away from each other wherever possible. So that was that. Okay. Anyways, so what happened was I had to choose some subjects to take some exams in. And the 2 extra subjects that I decided to take, because these were creative arts. Now, if you recall my last video, I said about that the only options were, in my old school, dance, music and art. There was a couple more, or as media as well. But in this new school that I went to, they had food technology as an option. So obviously I was like, yeah, we'll go for food technology. That sounds fantastic. It's definitely not dance. It's definitely not drama. And it's definitely not art, which I was very happy about. And there was space in food technology as well. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Fine. So my 2 choices were food technology and media. Anyways, normally in food technology, we would we'd make things. We'd bake things. We'd create things to eat. And normally, whenever we'd have food technology, there's kind of really no point in bringing lunch because we was already going to make it. Anyway, so this has been going on for a while, and me and this girl, we still really didn't like each other at all. And she would normally get like a frying pan or a saucepan, and whenever she got close to me, because she had to, not in that way, but just because we had to get ingredients and stuff like that, so normally we'd have to cross paths or whatever. She would normally pretend to hit me with a frying pan, and the teacher found this especially funny, that she had a particular hate for me. And she found it funny. Now, I genuinely thought that if I really do annoy her, she will smack me over the head with a frying pan. Slight spoiler, I tried. It never happened, sadly. I would have loved it. I would have found it absolutely funny if she just bonked me on the head with a frying pan. But so she had this really sort of tough exterior where she was like, I don't know, she would always threaten me and do stuff like it was. I found it funny. Like, it was not like, it wasn't hurtful or anything like that. I found it particularly funny because she really did not like me. Like, having a slight hatred for someone is fine, but she genuinely hated me. Like, I believe that if she could be the judge, jury and executioner, she would have had no problems in being the one that beheaded me. If we was back in that time, she probably would have liked that quite a lot. In fact, she probably still would like that quite a lot. I don't even know if she remembers me, but yeah. Anyways, she anyways, one time we was going back, we was in food technology. Now, I entered the class a little bit late. I had something on, I'm not quite sure what happened, but for some reason I ended up in food technology a bit late. And all of the electric ovens were in use. Now, I have only ever used an electric oven, so I know how to use an electric oven. I don't know how to use a gas oven. So anyways, I had no choice but to use a gas oven. I didn't know how to use this oven. I was like, yeah. So I had to get the teacher to basically hold my hand, not physically, and just sort of help me with the whole how do you turn it on kind of deal. Because obviously you push the button and it goes, and then there's like a combination that you gotta use to make it ignite. But obviously, not being a gas user, I've never done this. We don't have gas in our house, so yeah, I've never done it before, so I didn't really know what I was doing. Anyway, so she basically turned it on and got it all ready for me. She was like, "Yeah, you do this and this." I was like, "Fine, okay." We was creating something. Now, I'm not quite sure what we was cooking. To be honest, I can't actually remember. I think it may have been a sponge cake or something like that. But I really can't remember, to be honest. That is purely a guess. Anyways, so I was making my sponge cake, and everything was fine. And I looked at it, and I was like, right, this is done. I opened up the thing, and it looked cooked. I poked my. I think I had a fault. There's a tool that you can use to see whether or not something is actually cooked, because if you put it in sponge and it comes out wet, then it's not cooked. Basically, it needs to be cooked for longer, or it's cooked on the outside, but it's not cooked on the inside. Now, obviously, when you're playing about with eggs and stuff, you need to obviously make sure it's cooked. So I just used a fork because I couldn't find the thing. I think the actual poker thing was with the girl who disliked me. So I took it upon myself to not agitate her any more than she already was agitated, because she was in a pretty bad mood that day. She wasn't bad to me, but you can kind of tell when she was in a mood. I don't quite know what was going on. It might have been her time of the month. She might have just seen me and stared at me for a little too long and just, don't know, felt sick. I don't know what the problem is. She obviously had stuff going on. So I thought, despite me being my funny self, I'll actually leave her alone, which was unusual, and I think that was the first time I've ever I've ever done that. Normally, I'd end up making her day worse. Anyways, so I needed to turn the gas oven off, and I didn't know how to turn the gas oven off, so I called the teacher over again. I was like, "Look, I've pushed this in. I've stopped the flame from doing whatever it was doing, and I've pushed a button in." Basically, I did exactly what the teacher did, but I did it in reverse to turn it off. And she turned around and was like, "Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You've turned it off, but it's still going." Anyway, she was like a little bit concerned at this point, as I've turned it off, but the gas was still going. Do you know what I mean? It was making a noise. And so by the oven, there's an emergency switch button, and when this button's pushed, I assume it's supposed to just turn off the gas. Anyway, she flicked the switch, and it made no difference at all. Anyway, she hurriedly went to the centre of the room, and she basically shouted at the top of her voice, "Everybody out!" So we all get out. obviously I kind of don't really understand, because at this point I was 16 or 15, 16, something like that. So I didn't really understand. I didn't really understand the whole concept of gas. I know that gas is obviously explosive and stuff like that. So I assumed that was probably why, if somebody lit a match in the vicinity, the whole place would probably go kaboom. Anyway, so we're told to evacuate. So we end up going to the playground. And the fire alarm goes off. Now, obviously, I assume that the teacher raised the fire alarm, but it took quite a while for her to actually push the fire alarm. I'm not quite sure what was going on, because she was inside and everyone else was out. Now, the fire alarms that we have in the UK, I'm not sure if this is the same in America and other places like that, but you basically have like a push thing. You have a button which you push, and basically the glass or plastic, I think it's normally plastic nowadays, it's not glass. It might be glass, or I don't know, non-shattered glass, I'm not really sure. It sort of separates and it just sort of creates a gap. Anyway, you push the button and the fire alarm goes off, right? So the fire alarm goes off, and the whole school ends up having to has to come out, and I don't know what I've just done. What on earth have I just done? I am stuck badly now. Never mind. So yeah, everyone comes out, all the the early years, all the senior years, all the head teachers, all the teachers, just everyone comes out. Anyways, there's a few people missing, but we're assuming that they're still coming out or doing whatever. Anyways, I noticed someone from our food class who isn't actually outside. They didn't do a register at this point, because obviously our teacher was still inside, so couldn't do a register when she was still inside. But I noticed someone was missing. I was like, why are they missing? So, anyways, it turned out she was in the toilet or something. So I was kind of panicking about nothing. Anyways, not really understanding the gravity of the situation. The teacher eventually came out, and she explained to me what happened. She said that the oven was defective, basically. So it could have happened to anyone. Like, it just so happened that I used it, and it was defective, and it decided that it didn't want to work. Anyways, so as the fire alarm's going off, it's going off, and we're outside for a good 45 minutes, and obviously when you're not doing anything actively, 45 minutes when you're not doing anything seems like a very long time. So time was going very, very slow, and I had a lot of time to think about what happened and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm now kind of at a point where my mental mood changes, and I take the view that this is my fault, and I'm having to make everybody stand outside, because at this point it's not raining, it's not sunny, it's kind of overcast, but it's cold. It's winter at this time. It was just cold. So, and obviously there were some people who didn't get their coats, because obviously when there's a fire alarm, the first thing you do is you get out. You don't care about your bags, you don't care about your coat, but everyone did. Some people had their bags, some people had coats, some people had neither. And so basically, the fire brigade eventually come, and the fire brigade decide that they're going to go in, and they have all their stuff on, they've got masks on and stuff like that. So I'm just sort of assuming that, hey, the gas has been on for a good 45 minutes now, and yeah. And very sternly, the head teacher says, nobody light a match. Now, I was a little bit confused about this. I would have thought, well, if that's going to be the case, then surely we should be evacuating to a much more safe distance. Like, we should be out of the school at this point. We should be like on the main road or something like that. We should be not even remotely near. So it was a very stern warning, because there was a lot of kids at the school who smoked. Some people would smoke tobacco. Some people would smoke some other things. If you know what I mean. And so yeah, so he gave a very stern warning. It was quite scary. He kind of shouted at us, to be honest. It was a stern shout. Obviously, you could tell that he wasn't playing around, which was that. Oh, I can't do this, do I? I can't do this. This sucks. Well, I'm having so much trouble doing this, and so yeah. Anyways, so that's all fine. Eventually, the fire brigade come back out again. This was probably about a good 15 minutes or whatever, and they go ahead and give the all clear. So everyone goes back in. So we all go back in. At this point, I'm still sort of doubting myself. I'm questioning myself. I'm just like, why is this happening to me? Would this have actually happened if it was anybody else? And I just felt bad because at this point there was still people who didn't show up. Eventually, I think everyone was accounted for, but there was a good time before everyone properly came out and everyone was all accounted for. And I kind of thought, well, if anyone was still stuck in there and there's gas and somebody decides that they're going to light a match, the whole place is going to go up and they're going to be dead. Like, there's going to be absolutely no chance of anyone surviving. So I felt pretty bad, and so obviously after everyone was accounted for, it was like, fine, everything's fine. The worst thing that's going to happen now is someone's going to light a match, or the whole school would just randomly just combust before the fire brigade got there. Well, I mean, it could have gone kaboom when the fire brigade was in there. There was no, but obviously they know what they're doing. So, and I assume they was wearing fire retardant stuff anyway. But I assume if there was a gas explosion, and the gas has been on for that long, I don't think any amount of protection would have done anything. But could be wrong. I'm not a firefighter, so obviously I can't make that an accurate representation of what would have happened. So yeah. Anyways, we go back in. Now the teacher at this point is still she's out of the class. I look at the oven and it's got like a do not use warning on it. And anyway, my Victoria sponge is still in there. I decide, right, I'm not going to bother. It's probably got a load of gas in it. It's probably poisonous or whatever. So I just decided not to touch it. Everybody else went back to their electrical ovens, which they were using, and basically just carried on working. Anyways, during this time, the teacher was gone for a very long time. So this was like a triple session of food technology. So the whole session lasted about 3 hours. Plus we had lunch in between that, so bear that in mind. So basically, we lost a lesson. We had lunch at this point, although a lot of us just decided to carry on inside. So it was still technically lunchtime. So that was probably why the teacher wasn't there, because she was on her break. I don't know. I didn't ask. And anyways, somebody a joker next door, because there's 2 food technology classes. The joker next door decides to try and lock us in. Now, I decide it would be a good idea to try and get the door open, because I while I'm not claustrophobic, I don't like the whole concept of being locked in a room. It's not something that particularly appeals to me. And so, how do I explain this? So there's the layout kind of works like this. You've got room 1, and then you've got like a corridor sort of mess room, and then you've got room 2. You can go from room 1 into this cubby hole into room 2. However, the door that separates the cubby hole from room 2 was locked. I don't know why it was locked, but it was locked. So anyways, you couldn't get out. So I was feeling a bit weird. So I decided to go over, and so the other guy's pushing the door handle. The other guy's pushing the door handle, and it's pushing it down. So basically, you can't open it. So he's holding it, or he's holding it up. No, he's holding it up. So he's holding the door handle up, so that if anyone tries to push down on it, they can't. So anyways, I go over, I push it down with all of my force, and the actual door handle snaps. The whole door handle. And so this was a metal door handle. Like, I think this was brass or something, and I think it was just the force of him having it up and me pushing down on the other end that caused it to snap, and obviously it just did that. So I held it through the window so I could see who it was. I knew what was going on, and I just showed him it, and everyone just laughed, and some people were like in awe of how it managed to break. Basically said to the class, don't tell anyone. And I hid the door handle. It was me. I did it. I was guilty. And so then what happened was the teacher eventually returned. She said, "Where's the door handle?" And everyone was like, "I don't know." Now this was weird, because at the same time, nobody particularly liked me. But when we was in food technology, we was sort of like a group, and I wouldn't say we was close, but we sort of had I don't know, like I can't explain it. Outside of food technology, it would have been completely and utterly different. It would have been a completely different scenario. Anyways, I'm starting to feel bad here because I'm feeling like everything's my fault. I've accidentally just broken the door handle. I didn't intend to break the door handle. I nearly set the whole place on fire. I had some other kids come up to me that were younger and older, and they were like, "Oh, good job, you nearly blew up the school." Some people were like that, and then some people were like, "Yeah, I wish you'd actually have blown up the school and stuff like that." So I had a couple of people come up to me and say that. And it was at this point I've still got a lot of self-doubt coming through. So I decided to step into the mess room for a while, and I just I just think, and I just have some time out, and I'm just like, so I'm at this point, I'm fine. And then what happens is I start weeping. Okay, I start weeping, and I'm just like, yeah, because it wasn't even about the thing. It was just the mindset that I was in, and I just thought I just needed some time out, so I just started weeping. Anyways, for some reason, this girl who hates me very, very much, she decides to come in. For some reason, I've got absolutely no idea how she knew I was in there. I didn't I didn't go, "Hi everyone, I'm going into the mess room." I don't know, and obviously she was at the back, so I don't quite know what Anyway, she comes in, she sits on the table, so she sits on the countertop because she's obviously very, very small, and she just hugs me, and we were hugging for a good 10 minutes. Now, obviously, at this point, it kind of reminded me of Sapphire before I moved schools. And she would do exactly the same thing. We would hug for like 10, 20 minutes sometimes. And so to me, it was very unusual that that this person of all people would give me a hug because she hates my guts. She probably wants me dead. So she hugs me. I'm just fine. I mean, I'm crying a little bit. I try not to not to make too much noise and whatever, but I just cry like a little wimp. And anyway, I felt a bit better after I had a little cry. And so what happened after that was I said to her, "Look, I'm really sorry for everything that I've done." And I say, "You're a really nice person." And I just straight up was honest with her. And I said, "I'm jealous of you." Because she was, how can I say, she wasn't liked by everyone, but she wasn't disliked by everyone. But I thought she was really cool. And she obviously had some sort of, I want to say this, but it's going to be taken out of context. I was surprised that she had a heart. So I apologised, and she was cool with it, and nothing else happened. Despite having a hug for a good 10 minutes, it was like, I mean, this is weird. Are you giving me a signal, or are you just? So obviously, I don't know. And obviously, I'm young. I'm 15. I'm 16. I've got a lot of testosterone blowing around through my body. Hormones are going all over the place. Anyways, nothing actually happens after that. It was just after that, and I felt a lot better. And she didn't say anything to anyone, which I was really surprised about. But yeah. And then whatever would happen is whenever we'd cross paths, like she needed something or I needed something, she'd smile at me. Instead of wanting to hit me over the head with a frying pan, well, she'd sometimes pick it up, like, I don't know, to keep character or something. But she would smile at me, and for the rest of the time, I couldn't really do anything, because obviously there was no ovens available. My masterpiece of a sponge cake has got gas in it. And I was like, I don't know what to do. So I decided to be her personal washer-upper and an assistant. And and I think there was a lot of raised eyebrows. Even the teacher looked at us a bit strange and was like, "Why are you two getting along so well?" And so she just pretends to hit me again with the frying pan, and everyone's like, "Okay, she still hates him. He still hates her." And so it was just really strange. It was, yeah. Anyway, the school was fine. Everything else was fine. Nothing really happened. But I thought the reason why I got so upset was because people were still missing. And if the school exploded and somebody got killed, I don't know what I'd do with myself, to be honest. It would, I don't know. I understand now it's my fault, and looking back, it was so stupid to even think that it was remotely my fault. After all, the teacher turned the oven off. The teacher turned the oven on. The teacher turned the oven off, basically, well, made sure that it was off. So realistically, it wasn't my fault at all. It just happened, and I think it's made it quite bad because obviously I've never used a gas oven since because I'm always like, and I haven't. To this day, I still haven't used a gas cooker because obviously I'm so scared that something like that's going to happen. If I go ahead and do it, I'm just like, "Ugh." So I'm really reluctant. Now, obviously, I don't have a gas oven at my home. We have an electric oven, so that's fine, and that all works. But it was just like, ugh. Yeah. So gas ovens are now my nemesis, um, along with Polly Pockets and what else am I really bad at? I'm really bad at making paper planes as well. Anything with paper, I'm pretty bad at. So yeah, I got a few nemesis, things that I really just don't want to do, and cooking with gas, or a gas oven specifically, I'd be fine with a stove or something like that. But a gas oven specifically, yeah, I don't want to touch that ever again.